Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm finally going to do the much anticipated makeup tutorial for stage makeup. I know that this angle is really bad, but this is the best that I could do in my bathroom right now. So I'm just gonna take you through the steps of like what I would do to get ready for show and my stage makeup. I'm probably not gonna go through like every single product because you don't need the exact products that I have, but basically the technique of applying the makeup and just like how much makeup you need to have on. I just did my hair just to trial. I just curled it and just to see like what curling iron I was going to use and take and all that stuff. And then after this, I'm going to do some posing practice just so I can see the whole thing together. But for now, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm going to do to get my face like ready for the stage. Okay, I was actually able to move you guys a little higher, so hopefully this lighting is a little bit better. So the first thing that I am gonna do, and the first thing that I always recommend, is a good primer. You can use whatever primer you want, and I probably should have laid all of this out beforehand, but I didn't, so we're just gonna have to excuse me while I dig through all of my makeup and find the things that I need. So I like to use two different primers. Actually, let me look for them and I'll show you what they are. So the two primers that I like to use is a grippy primer. I have the Milk Makeup one. I don't love this primer for like every day or anything. I only use it for show day. And then I like to use a putty primer just to like fill my pores. So I'm gonna put these on my face just a little bit because again, I'm literally just practicing this. I'm not going anywhere or doing anything. So it doesn't need to be like crazy, but I put the grip primer all over my face, and then the pore filling primer I only put in the areas that I have pores. So for me, it's right around here and a little bit on my forehead. And then this one's just a putty. I'm sure you guys have seen it. This is the e.l.f. one. And I just go in here, grab a little bit. And then this one, you really want to press into your skin. You don't really want to drag it because you want it to like almost spackle in those pores. So just really pressing. I like to put it right around this area and in like the creases of my nose because I find that it really helps. The top of my nose has some pores as well. And then my forehead and my chin. I'm actually going to do something that I don't normally do today, and I'm going to do my eyeshadow first. So I have an eyeshadow palette here. It's all neutral colors, so I'm going to do a very neutral eye. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a color like this brown right here. It's like a very kind of warm tone brown, and I'm going to put that all over my eye with a fluffy brush. Basically, this is just going to serve as our transition color, and you want to get this all the way from the socket, like your whole lid, all the way out. And again, I'm not a makeup guru person, so this setup and these angles are not the best, but it's just so that if you need to do your stage makeup, you have something to base it off of. So a neutral color all over your lid from the inside all the way to the outer corner, and take it a little bit higher than your crease so that you can use it as a transition color to blend the other colors that we are going to put on top. I'm going to keep this eyeshadow pretty neutral. I'm going to go for like just a neutral-ish like smoky eye situation. You don't really want to match your makeup to your bikini or anything like that. You just want to keep it like fairly neutral. So just keep that in mind when you are doing your makeup. Now, for the inner part of the lid, I'm gonna go with like a cream color right here. And I'm basically just taking that on a flat, kind of like a shader brush, and I'm just patting it on the inner third of my eye, just to brighten up that area because I just like the way that that looks. So just patting it on about 1/3 of the way in. I don't even know if you can see, but from here to like the middle of your eye. And pack on as much of that color as you like. The more, the better, because you're gonna be on the stage from far away. So you do wanna be able to make sure that you can see these colors. So I'm gonna do the other eye and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that you have that color, I'm going to next take a little bit of a deeper color, and it's going to be the like rich brown color from this palette. And I'm just gonna put that on the outer corner just to deepen the eye a little bit. And I'm gonna bring that about halfway in where that cream color kind of stops. So we're just deepening up the outside of the eye, and we are gonna deepen it up a little bit further with some black, but for now, we're just gonna go in with this brown. Make sure you tap off the excess, and remember the first place that you touch the shadow, that's where it's gonna be the most concentrated. So make sure that you start right at the outer corner and then kind of like tap and blend it going inward, but not too far, because you don't really wanna bring this brown too far in. Just kind of making like a letter C on the outside of your eye. And of course, do the same thing on the other side and let the brush kind of do the work for you. So tap it on the very outer corner and then the brush will help you to diffuse the color. It doesn't matter what brushes you use as long as the shape is right. Like these are super cheap. I'm pretty sure that I got these on Amazon like years ago, and I just make sure that I keep them clean and they work just fine. So you don't need to have anything too fancy or anything like that. Putting on more shadow than what you might be comfortable with, because again, you want to make sure that you can really see this and it's shaping your eye and you can see it from far away. Now, once you're at a point where you're kind of like this and you have that color down, you want to go back to that initial color that you first put down, and you're going to go ahead and blend the edges with that. So just going right above where that brown color is and coming all the way in, just making sure that you have like a seamless blend, and literally just doing little circles, windshield wiper motions, and just going back and forth. I'm gonna blend the other eye and I'll be right back. So with the blending, you do get rid of some of that depth with the dark brown. So I'm gonna go back to the dark brown shadow and just tap some more of that on and just kind of bring it in and let the work be done by the brush. Kind of sticking the top of the brush into the socket of your eye and just kind of blending back and forth. This is gonna be the worst makeup tutorial in the history of YouTube, but hopefully it helps somebody out. Because getting your makeup done at the show, I find is like such a gamble, just because things happen, like people run late. The appointments usually start like really, really early, like around 3 or 4 in the morning. And I just don't want to deal with having to be on time and do all of that the day of the show. So I would always rather just do the makeup myself. So I just kind of taught myself a look that I like, and this is what I do every single time. So now that you have something like this, you're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of the black shadow, and for this, I'm gonna take just like a piece of a card and I'm gonna place that down underneath my eye. And sorry about the reflection, but literally like the smallest amount of black. I'm gonna put this card down just to catch any fallout, and I'm just concentrating this black on the very outer corner of my eye. It's a smaller brush, and we're keeping that all in the back of the eye. Again, to just deepen it and give us like a shape that we want. So you can take this opportunity to elongate your eye if that's something that you're going for. You see how it's already like has more shape than this one. So I'm gonna do the other one and I'll be right back. So what you wanna do once you're at this point is, again, you wanna go back to that medium toned shadow that we were using earlier. It's gonna be this one right here. And you're gonna go back and you're gonna blend out all of those edges again. And that's kind of the trick to having like seamless makeup, is like constantly going back and blending and adding a little bit more, taking some away, and just literally going back and forth a million times until you are happy with the way that everything looks. We're also going to match this on the lower lash line, but we're not going to do that until after we put on our face products, obviously. I just wanted to do this so that I could wipe away any fallout if there was any. So once I'm happy with that, I'm gonna touch everything back up. So I'm gonna go back into the cream color with that brush, and I'm gonna just pat on some more, making sure I keep the brightness through the inner corner. So touching everything back up, just going to the inner corner with that cream color again, making sure that that's nice and bright. And then I'm gonna go back again into that brown and layer some more of that through the outer third. And we're gonna go in with some glitter, but I'm also gonna save that for the end so that we don't get glitter all over our face, because that is the worst, especially when you still have foundation to do. So basically this is the eyeshadow mostly done. So now we're gonna move on to our face for now. So what I like to do is, well, I guess we could do our eyebrows while we're here, because this would be a good time. So let me find my brow pencil, one second. Okay, so for the brows, I just have a brow pencil. It has gel on one side and the color on the other side. So I'm just going to brush back and forth on the brow. Then I'm gonna brush it upwards. And then I'm just gonna fill in my brow. You do wanna go with a little bit of a stronger brow than what you normally do. Normally I don't like this pencil because it's really dark, but for stage, it's pretty good. And you don't wanna do anything too crazy. You just wanna kind of follow your normal shape. So I like to go on the bottom and just kind of outline. And then in the front, I like to kind of stroke it upwards. And then I'll take a spoolie and I'll brush it out and fill in like any bald spots on the brow, but you don't want it to be too crazy. So I'm gonna do this and I'll be right back. Okay, so once it looks crazy like this, you just take a clean spoolie and you just kind of brush through them and just make sure that it doesn't look too harsh. Okay, so that's the brows. Now, those are looking a little bit crazy for me, but that's okay. So that's the brows. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to underpaint. So I'm gonna take a cream concealer, or a cream contour, and I'm gonna go in. It's pretty dark because remember, for stage, you're gonna be pretty much a different color. So I'm gonna go in with this and put it in all the places that I wanna contour. Around my forehead, cheeks, nose. Then I'm gonna go in with a cream blush. Now, I bought like a cream blush palette on Amazon. Looks like this. It's a dupe for a very well-known brand. So I'm gonna take this and I'm probably gonna go with a color that is gonna be deeper than what you would expect, because it's gonna get blended out with your foundation once you put your foundation on top. So I'm probably gonna go with something like this and this and this. I'll like mix them together. So I'm just gonna go in with my fingers for this one. And I'm just gonna put that right around the apple of my cheek. And the same thing on this side. And I know it looks crazy right now, but it's gonna be fine. You're gonna put foundation over the top of it. So that's the blush and the contour. Now I'm gonna take a brush and I'm gonna start blending out the dark color just a little bit. Not too much, because again, we're gonna blend it out with our foundation as well, just so that there's not like a harsh line. Down the nose, because we want that nose to be snatched up. And then the forehead, again, just a little bit, because we are gonna go in. And I know this looks crazy, but we're gonna go in and we're gonna blend it out. So now I'm gonna take a foundation. Now, normally I do mix this Clinique concealer. The color is Clove. I mix this with my regular foundation to get my stage color. I recommend you do the same. I recommend that you just get yourself a concealer or a foundation that is a few shades darker than you, and also that is a warm tone, because that's really what the stage tan is going to be. It's usually a warm tone. So we're going to go over all of this with our foundation, and you see how we're covering this up, but it's still going to be coming through underneath. So I'm going to cover this with my brush, and then I'm going to go in with my beauty blender and remove the excess product. And I'm also going to blend it out that way, and then we're going to add concealer to this as well. So I know it looks crazy, but don't worry, it's all gonna come together. So I just like to spread it out with this brush, and then we're gonna take a beauty blender or a sponge, any kind of sponge. This one is from Target. It's not Beauty Blender brand. And we're just gonna blend all of this out with the sponge. And so you see, we don't look as crazy anymore, but there's still some of that color and that structure to the face coming through. And we're gonna layer powder products on top of this as well. Remember, you also want this makeup to last you a long time. Like, this is gonna have to last you pretty much all day long. And you wanna be doing minimal touching up, because you're not gonna have a lot of time to touch up. I mean, you will in between prejudging and finals. So if you need to touch up, that would be the time. But okay, so we've got the foundation color on. I'm gonna go back in with the cream blush because I feel like I need a little more of that. So I'm just going in with the brush this time and giving myself some pink cheeks. And remember, I know it looks crazy, but you're gonna be really far away, and we're gonna be putting on powder and all kinds of stuff on top of this. So don't worry about it too much. Taking the beauty blender and just making sure everything is pretty much blended out. And now that that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and take a concealer, and I'm going to put concealer underneath my eyes. This is a shade lighter because I do want to brighten a little bit. So concealer under the eyes, concealer in the middle of the nose bridge, and concealer underneath where you contoured, and a little bit in the middle of the forehead. Just bringing some of that light back into the face that we took away. So I'm gonna blend this out with a brush first, and then we're gonna go in with the blender. And it's really just about patting and making sure that there's no harsh lines that are being left anywhere. And remember, when you blend, it extends the color. So you want to make sure that when you're blending, you are not dragging it, because you don't want that color to go anywhere except where you've placed it. I'm just going to do the under eye with the blender, making sure that you get into that inner corner tear duct area, and then bringing that down onto that blush a little bit. It doesn't matter if this makeup is looking heavy or cakey, because once we set it and everything, it's not going to matter. Plus, you're going to be so far away that even if it is, nobody's going to be able to tell. So don't worry about that at all. Okay. Just go over your whole face with the blender, making sure that there's no harsh lines again. And now that we have everything kind of blended in, that's pretty much the base. Now we're gonna go in with our powders. So I have two different powders here. They do have coverage. I do like to use a powder with coverage for stage makeup, just because the more coverage you can put on, the better. And I have these little puffs I got on Amazon. So I'm gonna go in with this little puff. We're gonna tap into the powder, tap off some excess onto your hand, and you're gonna go all underneath the eye. This is a pressed powder, so you're not gonna see like a lot of kick up like you do when people do their makeup with like a loose powder. So going all underneath the eye, making sure that you're powdering the nose, the T-zone, anywhere that you get oily, the chin. And then once that's all set, we're gonna go in with a brown, like this is a foundation powder, but I like to use it for bronzer. So I go in with a little bit of that and tap right over where that blush is sitting and around the whole perimeter of the face with like a big fluffy brush. You don't want to do anything too structured. You just kind of want to warm up the face. Going on the nose a little bit, forehead, anywhere that the sun would naturally hit you, wherever you normally put your bronzer, that's where you want to go with this powder. The jaw, go down the neck a little bit, and you're going to be tan, so this is not going to look crazy, I promise you. Okay. So now once all of that is done, you're going to add your final blush step. So I have here this blush, and I'm literally just gonna go on the apple and go where the rest of that cream blush is. This blush does have a little bit of shimmer, so I will not be applying any highlight to my face. I also just don't like the way the highlight looks, but if you do, then that is totally fine. Okay, so now the base is done. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna finish up the eyes. And you're just gonna use the same colors that you used before, but now you're gonna place them on the lower lash line. So with a flat brush like this, you're gonna start with that medium toned color, and you're gonna take it all across the lower lash line, obviously on both sides. Connecting it to that outer corner of the eye. And then the same brush, you're gonna go into that darker brown, and that you're gonna keep like on the outer corner. Try not to go too low with it. Put the color facing up. So whatever side you tapped into the brush, that's the side that goes facing up, like this. And then you can kind of stamp it and then kind of blend. And don't bring that all the way in. We just want to keep it on the outer third and connect it to that black in the corner. Now, I'm not going to put black in my lower lash line. I just don't like the way that looks, but you can, and this would be the time. I am going to touch up that black on the outer corner just a little bit while we're here, just so that it looks black and not gray. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that original fluffy brush, and again, I'm going to blend out all of the edges of the shadow so that there's no harsh lines or anything crazy going on. Okay, and that's what we have. Now for the inner third of the lid, I do have some glitters here. I'm probably gonna go in just with my finger, and then I'm gonna press it. And this has to be the final step, because once you put this glitter down, you can't do any more blending. So literally just pressing the glitter into your eye. And you don't have to do glitter. I just If there's an opportunity for glitter, I'm gonna take it. So that is that. Now I'm gonna add some lashes to this. I bought some lashes for this, but I think that they might be too big. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add some that I already have. And these are the ones that I had from last time. These are the Ardell Active Lash. I don't even know the style, but we're gonna add these on and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got one lash on and I did put a little bit of mascara on, but I got some on my nose. So if that happens to you, don't touch it. Just let it dry. Sorry, there's like a hair on my spoolie. And then you can take a spoolie and literally just scratch it off and it'll come right off. If you touch it while it's wet, it's just gonna make a mess. So just let it dry and then we're gonna put mascara on the bottom and then we'll come back for the lips. I'm just gonna put the other lash on. Now for the lashes, you want to put your glue on it and then you want to wait for that glue to get nice and sticky so that you can just go ahead and place it down and it'll stick to your eye. So if the glue is still like white and wet like this, you don't want to put it on just yet because you don't want to be fussing around with it. So I'm going to wait for this for just a second. And then once this is ready, I'm going to just plop it in my eye and we'll come back for the lipstick. Okay, so for the lipstick, I have a lipstick here. There's usually a color that I use for stage, but I cannot find it anywhere, which is a little bit annoying to me. But we're gonna use this one just as an example, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna take a lip liner. So you wanna make sure you're lining your lips. And you can overline them a little bit. And you want to make sure that you pick a color that complements your skin tone. But either a neutral pinky color. Some girls do red lipstick, which looks nice on some people. Just make sure that you pick something that looks good on you. And I prefer if it has a little bit of gloss because you would think like a long-lasting lipstick would be easier to keep up with, but it's actually a pain in the ass. Because if you have to reapply, those are sometimes not very friendly to reapply. And your lips get dry and you want to put gloss on top or something. It's just easier to have like a cream lipstick. I think I'll probably mix this one just because I think it doesn't stand out enough. So I'll go in with like a little pinkier shade. And then this is the final look. So this is gonna be my final look for stage. This is the makeup. Ignore my hair dye towel. This is how we're looking. And this is gonna stay on all day. It's gonna look really nice from far away. And I just curled my hair like very simply, and this is gonna be my look. So now I'm gonna go put on my suit and do a little bit of posing practice now that I have all of this on. Just wanted to show you guys the makeup in sunlight. This is natural light. I'm standing in front of my window and this is gonna be the look. I think it looks good. Do some posing practice now.